This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Welcome back to another edition of Hometown Heroes on Family Life. I'm Mark Webster, and this is part 2 of our conversation with Central American missionaries Pete and Tyanne Jurka. Last week we heard about their beginnings serving in Guatemala. Today we focus on the start of their work in Honduras, which started with a crisis, then a miracle, on the way back from a U.S. furlough.
Driving down to Honduras, we had an accident in Mexico.
A bad one.
A bad one. He was paralyzed. We were there with 3 little children and all our belongings kind of gone. God just did so many miraculous things. That would be a whole other interview. But got us back to Buffalo by air vac, and he was one of the only people, they said, that walked out of the trauma center in ECMC on the floor where they're paralyzed. They said they just don't walk off of this floor.
No other explanation but a miracle.
Yeah, it was a miracle. We all are miracles, but he's a walking miracle.
Tell me about that time.
Well, it was a difficult time because I felt God was speaking to me to go to Honduras. And here I am back in Buffalo, paralyzed, and it just seemed like the whole thing fell apart. And I'm laying in bed, and we had a couple of pastor friends that came to visit us, and he said, well, looks like God doesn't want you to go to Honduras. That's not an uplifting thing to say, so that stuck with me that night after he left. And I said, God, do you speak that way to just about kill me, to tell me not to go to Honduras? It didn't make sense. And sometimes when we have questions, we ask God why. Why do things happen? And we don't get answers. We start getting bitter. You listen to all the lies. A couple days after that, I was in my wheelchair, and there was a little precious lady. She was a Christian lady, and she was a quadriplegic. She kept on saying that God is a perfect God. He doesn't make mistakes.
And we would go in her room to encourage her and come out encouraged. She had so much faith that it built our faith.
So then I said, you know what? I believe God did call me, and I want to go back. I remember requesting to do more rehab. And every little small thing was a big mountain that I faced. I said, well, if I can stand for 3 seconds, why can't I do it for 6 seconds? Several weeks later, I walked across the room. After 3 or 4 months, I was able to walk on my own. I was so excited. And then we were finishing our year in Buffalo. I said, well, I think we need to go now. And it's almost like the enemy tried to stop us from coming. So I said, you know what? We're going to just declare
for Christ.
This is for
Yes.
Christ. So we got back into Honduras, and we did that. And I remember when we were looking for a place to start the church, we were there looking at it, and I said, you know what? Even if I buy 1 square foot, I'm going to stand on that land and say this land is God's land. And that's kind of how our story started.
So you've been in Honduras how long now?
Over 30 years. This big building right here, and that's another miracle. We didn't have a penny. We never had money. We just trusted God. From the day we left to the day till today, we just trusted God, and everything you see, God gets the glory because it wasn't us. It wasn't even just hard work and labor or some rich person God put in our path. It was God. And we told him in the beginning, if this is of you, God, we're not going to be out begging. We don't have time for that. We don't want to do that. That's not who we are. It's great for others. It's not who we are. We don't have time for that. You do it. And he's done it all.
And we always felt like if he called us, why would he call us, and not make the provisions to make it happen? So we felt if he's opening the doors, he's going to give us the means to walk through those doors, and that's kind of how it is.
And this big building here, we knew that we were supposed to have children, that it was children's ministry. We weren't sure how it was going to happen or why. And so we started this little church next door. And the pastor there at the time told us, the land next door is for sale. So Peter said, Ty, let's go talk to the owner. Well, he lived up on another mountain, and we drove to his house, and we asked him, how much is it? He said, that's going to be just the land, $10,000. So Peter said, okay, we'll give you $2,000 in, I think you said 3 weeks. And then if you can wait 3 months, we'll give you the rest, the $8,000. And he said, okay, sign here. We signed. We walked to the car. Peter said, what did I just do? We don't have any money. But within those few weeks, there was a team that came down, and on that team was a nurse. And we did not even know these people. And on her way home, she said to the leader, "Do you know of anybody there that needs $10,000 for a children's ministry? Because my dad died and left me a trust fund, and it can only be used overseas for children." And he said, "Yeah, those missionaries we were just with mentioned it."
Now that you mention it.
We had the check within the next couple weeks for $10,000 paid for, land paid for.
Oh, my.
And we knew from there on, okay, God, if you did that, you'll send the kids, you'll take care of the kids, you'll pay for everything. And everything you see in this building was from God. That's all I can say. Just a gift from God.
Area natives Pete and Tyanne Jurka, longtime missionaries to Central America, currently serving the people of Honduras. In our final segment next time, they'll detail God's many miracles during their 30-plus years serving in Honduras. Please join us again next time as we search for your home, your town, your hero. It's Hometown Heroes on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.